Liquidating tomorrow. Stop trading your future to buy back your present. Chapter 1. The Tragedy of the Drift. You are liquidating the finite, unrecoverable currency of your existence, hour by hour, simply to buy back the right to exist in the present. It is a quiet, ongoing transaction, and most of us are entirely asleep to it. If you ask a man why he wakes before the sun and gives the best, most vibrant hours of his day to his labor, he will tell you, with earnest conviction, that he does it to secure his future. But if you observe the quiet mathematics of his life, you will witness a profound and silent tragedy. He is not securing his future at all. He is spending it. We are a strange species. We are capable of charting the distant stars, yet we routinely trade the irreplaceable asset of our time for things that rust, fade, and are forgotten. We spend our youth in an anxious pursuit of wealth, sacrificing our physical vitality in the bargain. Then, in the twilight of our years, we eagerly spend all that accumulated wealth in a desperate, frantic attempt to buy back our health. It is a peculiar, broken economy, one where the most valuable asset we possess, the unwritten days ahead of us, is sold at a steep discount to maintain a life we often do not even enjoy. This is the tragic bargain of the default life. It is not a contract signed in ink, but one agreed to in silence, ratified every single morning by the simple act of waking up and doing exactly what everyone else is doing. The majority of men and women trade the absolute miracle of their individual uniqueness for a counterfeit version of safety. They look around, observe the crowd, and assume that because so many are walking in the same direction, they must know where they are going. But the crowd rarely knows. Decades ago, the philosopher Earl Nightingale reminded us of a simple, sobering truth. We become what we think about. The deeper tragedy of our modern era is that most people do not think at all. They merely imitate. They borrow their desires, their fears, and their definitions of success from the neighbors they are trying to impress. In doing so, they surrender their sovereignty for the comfort of conformity, never realizing that the price of blending in is the quiet forfeiture of the person they were actually meant to become. Imagine a traveler in a small boat upon a wide, slow-moving river. The water is gentle, the sun is warm, and the traveler decides to pull his oars into the boat and rest. As he sits there, he watches the trees slip by on the riverbank. He feels the cool wind against his face. He experiences the sensation of movement, and in his mind, he mistakes this floating for traveling. He believes he is making progress simply because the scenery is changing. But he is not navigating. He is merely drifting. The current has become his master. He is comfortably asleep to the reality that this river, which feels so peaceful in this moment, is quietly and inevitably carrying him toward a waterfall of profound regret. This is not a sudden, dramatic end, but a slow, agonizing realization. It is sitting in the silence of an empty, quiet home, realizing you missed the entire youth of the children you claimed you were working to support. It is the sudden, cold diagnosis in a doctor's office, realizing your physical engine is broken before you ever had the chance to enjoy your freedom. It is looking back from the far edge of life and realizing you built an empire of obligations, but never once owned your own days. The drift is seductive because it requires no effort. It asks nothing of you. It only requires that you let go of the oars and allow the momentum of the world to dictate your destination. To wake from this slumber requires a quiet but unflinching honesty. It asks that you sit in the stillness of your own life and examine the ledger of your days. Look closely at where your hours go, where your energy is spent, and where your attention lingers. You must ask yourself, without judgment, but with absolute, clinical clarity, whether the life you are living is one you have designed or merely one you have inherited through inertia. Notice the places where you have allowed the drift to replace your own deliberate choices. Perhaps it is in the way you maintain your relationships, the way you manage your resources, or the way you settle for a vocation that numbs your spirit. The audit of one's life is not an exercise in guilt. It is the necessary accounting required to reclaim ownership of your time. It is the moment you pick the oars back up and feel the weight of the water against your own strength. But how do we perform this accounting? How do we calculate the exact cost of our drift? And how do we begin drafting the specific, concrete blueprint to escape it? There is a profound dignity in taking the helm of your own existence. To choose personal sovereignty is to step out of the current of imitation and chart a course by the stars of your own deeply held convictions. It is the quiet triumph of refusing to let the days slip through your fingers unexamined. The seasons of life are fleeting, and they change with a suddenness that catches the drifting man entirely off guard. But for the one who has decided to steer, who has decided to author his own days, rather than merely read the script handed to him by the crowd, the changing of the seasons is not a threat. It is the beautiful, unfolding reality of a life lived on purpose. Your reclamation begins now. In the next chapter, we will lay out the precise ledger of your audit. We will weigh your hours, examine your real costs, and begin drawing the specific coordinates of your escape. The water is deep, and the oars are in your hands. Let us begin.